Now we're going to discuss two examples from manufacturing um, applications. Okay, and I've taken these two examples from the Pro Model website, and I made some changes, and I'm going to present these examples in a step-by-step fashion. And while we're discussing the two examples, we're going to cover various functionality of Pro Model, which are more or less kind of a conceptual features, meaning that you will find these features in other software platforms also. So it is not unique to just Pro Model. So let's take a very simple example first, and then we'll look at a little more complex example after this. So here there's an example of manufacturing a gear. So we have uh, blank blanks coming in, the forged or cast blanks. They come in, and we're going to assume that 6 will come in at a time. So, and we receive these 6 units every 40 minutes. And then these blanks can then be routed to one of the two machines, lathes, and it takes on the average 3 minutes with a standard deviation of zero point 0.2 minutes. And after it gets processed, it's moved to degreasing, and here we're going to accumulate 2 units at a time. So the degreasing equipment will take 2 machined gears, and then it takes about 5 minutes for degreasing, and then once it is degreased, it's sent out to inspect, and the inspection takes uniformly between 2.9 and 3.5 minutes, and at the end of the inspection a certain percentage of the inspected gears are accepted as good finished gears, and the rest of them are rejected. Okay. And what happens to the rejects, we're not going to worry about it in this example. So this is the uh, basic flow chart of the gear manufacturing. Okay, so now let's head on over to Pro Model. Okay, so we're going to start with talking about this grid a little bit, because when you place icons in the layout, and for you to be able to align the layouts, um, setting up a grid is useful. So go to View and check grid. Okay, then the grid settings can be changed using grid settings. So here you can select what is the distance of each grid, or what time unit is needed for passing one grid, okay, and so on. And then the grid itself can be scaled by moving this up or down. So if you move this up, then you get larger grid sizes, and if you move it down, you get smaller grid sizes. Uh, so what one grid represents in terms of distance and time is entirely up to us, and we specify that here. Okay, so now we have one more thing that we can do is, again, these are aesthetics. It doesn't do anything in terms of computation, and that would be to insert a background a picture of for the layout. Okay, so I'm going to use a picture here from Pro Model. So here I already copied and saved. I'll make it available online in Canvas. So you get a kind of a 3-dimensional field, and we're going to set up our locations and routing in this background. Okay. And we are also going to change the graphics library. So let's select graphics library manufacturing. Okay. It has a smaller set of graphics, but that's enough. And we can always add more graphics if you like and save it um, with a new name. Okay. So now once I click OK, you'll see that the icons available will change. Okay, so you'll have only those icons. Okay. Now we're going to define the basic uh, features. So we have receive location. Please remember. So we have receive location, two lathes, a degrease, and inspect. These are the locations we have to define. So let's define. Okay, so let's take that and place it here. Okay, so then we can reduce the size and we'll call it receive. Okay, and we're going to have infinite capacity, so that means you can receive as many as you want, and so that's that. And then we will have lathe. So select lathe and let's put our lathe here. Okay. And then another lathe. Okay, so we'll call this lathe 1, and then another lathe, say right here, and we'll call that lathe 2. And they both have 1 as capacity. Okay, so we could have defined just one location with 2 as capacity, or one location with 1 as capacity and 2 units, but there is a reason why we are defining it as 2 different locations, because there is distance involved. So when parts are moved, it's going to take different units of time to move uh, 1 unit to this lathe as opposed to 1 unit to that lathe, even though um, these are 2 possible locations to which the parts can be routed, but only one of them need to be used. Okay, and then we have degreaser. So there is a degreaser here, and we'll put it over here. There's a degreaser. Okay, and degreaser is going to have a capacity of 2, because we need to accumulate 2 machined gears for degreasing. And then we have inspect. Okay, so put inspect right here. Okay. All right, so inspection, we'll call it inspect. Okay. All right. So now those are the locations, and let's look at entities. So we're going to have a blank. Okay. So let's use that one, and since we're going to use the same icon for a completed gear, let's go ahead and edit it and make it look like that. Alright, so that would be blank. Okay, and then we'll have gear. So the new is checked, so that's gear, and then we want one for reject, and let's see, we'll click the same thing again. We'll call it reject. Okay, let's edit it, and we change the color this time to red, indicating that it is a rejected gear. Okay, so those are the three entities we need. So now we have to set up arrival and processing. So we'll do that in the next video.